أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. دستور يا سيدي يا سلطان الأنبياء يا سيدي يا رسول الله مدد. دستور يا سيدي يا سلطان الأولياء يا مولانا الشيخ عبد الله مدد. دستور يا سيدي يا سلطان الأولياء يا سيدي الشيخ ناصر القبرصي مدد. دستور يا سيدي يا قطب المتصرف مدد. مدد يا رجال الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. The Prophet ﷺ said in Holy Hadith, إن أولى الناس بي أكثركم علي صلاة. The closest to me, the one that has the most priority with me, is the one that has the most salatu salam on me. So alhamdulillah, we brought 3 salatu salam, and we say, oh our Lord, make each one of them as many as the number of the stars in heavens, and make each one of them as many as the waves in the oceans, and make each one of them as many as the rocks on earth. So now we have trillions, zillions, more than trillions. That's what Dala'il al-Khayrat is. Sayyid Imam al-Jazuli compiled salawat, forms, versions of prayers of the Prophet ﷺ into a book called Dala'il al-Khayrat. And in our tariqah, our masters, they always recommended to read daily chapter from Dala'il al-Khayrat. There's a daily, for example, Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's a daily recitation of these prayers. And in these prayers, it's in Arabic, but if you translate it to English, it goes like that. O our Lord, send your prayers and blessings on the Prophet ﷺ as many as sand particles on earth. O our Lord, send your blessings and prayers on the Prophet ﷺ as much as hair is on humans. How much is that? Send your prayers on the Holy Prophet as many as birds are flying in heavens, in the sky, since you created them until day of judgment, and in each day multiplied by thousands of times. So Mawlana Shaykh recommends Dala'il al-Khayrat to be read every day. If you have the chance, please do. The Prophet ﷺ said, you are closest to me as much as you pray on me. Means as much as you send salawat on me. So we want to be close to him. We want to be close to our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Who is he? What is he? How is he? We don't know much. We know a little bit, but he has so much of himself that is unknown yet. But we know that he is Shakyh, he is the intercessor He is the one that's going to grant intercession on the day of judgment. We come to this world, we are born into this world, but do we live forever? Any of your friends died last week? Any of you people that you know died last week? I knew 2 people that died last week. One of them was doing perfect, had no problems. I saw her in the morning, 2 hours later she's dead. No problems. People die. We all will die one day. Maybe in 2 hours, maybe in 1 minute. Maybe in 2 years, 3 years, but eventually we die. So what happens when we die? When all mankind is done, everybody dies, we're going to be resurrected from our graves, and we will be in judgment day. There's no escape from that. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is a Shakyh, the intercessor. He is the intercessor on the day that a man or a woman would wish that she can give up all the wealth of the world to save herself or save himself. It's a day where you going to escape from your wife is going to escape from you. Your father is going to leave you alone, you're going to leave your father alone. Your mother is not going to look at you, you're not going to look at your mother. Everybody is for himself on that day. That day, the Prophet ﷺ told us that the sun will come so near to earth that people will sweat and sweat and sweat, where the sweat can reach up to the neck. Imagine your sweat reaching up to your neck. What kind of heat is that? استعيذ بالله يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم إن زلزلة الساعة شيء عظيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Holy Quran in Surah Al-Hajj, يا أيها الناس, all mankind, not mu'mins, Muslims, men, women, Christians, Jewish, mankind. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم. Be cautious. Be wary. Take precautions from your Lord. Be mindful of your Lord. Because the earthquake of that hour, the day of judgment, is terrible. The earthquake on that day is a terrible thing. يَوْمَ تَذْهَلُ كُلُّ مُرْضِعَةٍ عَمَّا أَرْضَعَتْ. On that day, every nursing mother will forget who she nursed and what she nursed. Imagine that closest tie between 2 human beings is the mother and a child, through the womb and then on the chest. The mother will forget who she nursed on that day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes in the Holy Quran that day. يوم تذهل كل مرضعة عما أرضعت وتضع كل ذات حمل حملها. And everybody that, or every woman that has a load, that means every pregnant woman, from that fear, I was giving an example that when somebody is afraid, a pregnant woman sometimes miscarries, drops her child, drops her load. On that day, the fear is such that if there were a pregnant woman, it will drop its load. وَتَضَعُ كُلُّ ذَاتِ حَمْلٍ حَمْلَهَا وَتَرَى النَّاسَ سُكَارَى. And you see the people in a drunken state. Everybody is like a drunk. They don't make sense. They don't pay attention to you. They don't know what's right and wrong. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to say. They're in a drunken state. وَمَا هُمْ بِسُكَارَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they are in a drunken state, but they are not drunk. But why are they drunk in a drunken state? وَلَكِنَّ عَذَابَ اللَّهِ شَدِيدٌ. Allah's punishment is very, very strong, is very great. So on the day of judgment, people are seeing Allah's punishment. On the day of judgment, Allah will show hellfire to people. وَعَرَضْنَا جَهَنَّمَ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْكَافِرِينَ عَرْضًا. Surah Al-Kahf. We will ard means showcase. Now you go to expos, you go to conferences, they showcase the latest refrigerators. You press this button, you press that button, you have TV, you have ice, you have all this mechanism on this fridge. On the day of judgment, Jahannam will be shown. You go in here, you go up here. You get this torture, you get that torture. It's going to be shown. People are drunk. They are amazed, they're surprised, they're afraid on that day of judgment. Nabi Kareem says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in a hadith mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, يَجْمَعُ اللَّهُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that day will gather the believers, will gather people. He will gather everybody, believers, non-believers, on that day of judgment. This is hadith. فَيَهْتَمُونَ لَهُ. All the people will become very, very scared. So they will seek somebody to intercede, to plead to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for them on their behalf. So what do? They say we have to find somebody that will help us through this terrible day, so we can find some rest. So the Prophet ﷺ is telling us, what do? They go to find Adam. They go and find Sayyidina Adam, our master Adam, and they say, Oh Adam, you're the father of humanity. You're the father of mankind. To you, the angels prostrated. They made sajda, they prostrated for you. Allah taught you the names. You are very special. Could you intercede for us in Allah's divine presence so we can get some rest, some comfort from this terrible punishment that is coming upon us? He goes, I can't. And he mentions his sin. And he said, I am ashamed of my Lord after I did that sin. But go to Nour. Find Nour. And ask Nour for intercession. So they go and find Sayyidina Nour. And Sayyidina Nour says, I can't either. I asked my Lord something I had no knowledge of. Because he asked his Lord about saving his child that drowned. And Noah's child was not a believer, so he asked for something he had no right and knowledge about. So he said, I'm ashamed of my Lord. But go find Sayyid Ibrahim, Khalilur Rahman. Maybe he can help you, O mankind. They're all scrambling for somebody to help them. The husband is not helping his wife. The father is not helping his son. The mother is not helping her daughter. The brother is not helping the brother. Nobody is helping anybody. Everybody for himself that day. So they go to Sayyidina Ibrahim. And Sayyidina Ibrahim says, I can't. I am not that one. Go find Musa. He's a servant that Allah spoke to. He's a servant that Allah sent Tawrat onto. Torah. Go find him. They go find Sayyidina Musa. And Moses says, I killed someone. I have a sin. I'm afraid, I'm ashamed of my Lord. I can't. Go find Isa. He is Allah's word. He is Allah's miracle. He is Ruh Allah. So they go find Sayyidina Isa. And he says, no, I can't. I'm not that one. Go find Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is hadith. Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is telling his companions, because he's a prophet. He sees the future. He sees what happens on the day of judgment. He is somebody, Sayyidina Isa is saying, Jesus is telling the people that came to him, go find Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, because he is a servant that Allah has forgiven all his past sins and all his future sins. He's as clean as it can be. He's as pure as it can be. Go find him. They go find Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and who cannot find him on that day, and he is the glowing sun. They go to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He says, فَأَقُومُ, I stand up. The Prophet ﷺ is standing up to save his nation. How much he loves us. He's not saying, no, I already have enough. I stand up and I go to the divine presence and I ask permission. أستأذن ربي. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Ayat al-Kursi, مَنْ ذَا الَّذِي يَشْفَعُ عِنْدَهُ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ. Who can ask intercession in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His divine presence? عند Allah. In His عند. عند means, can be many meanings, but in the divine presence, except with His permission. Ayat al-Kursi. So that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asks permission. Look at the adab of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He knows there's permission to be given first. He just doesn't go and say, I want this, I want that. He wants permission. فَأَسْتَأْذِنُ رَبِّي فَيُؤْذَنُ لِي. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives permission. He says, فَأَرَى رَبِّي فَأَقَعُ سَاجِدًا لِرَبِّي تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى. He says, I see my Lord, I fall down in prostration, in sajda. فَيَدَعُنِي إِلَى مَا شَاءَ أَنْ يَدَعُ. He leaves me in sajda until He wants. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in sajda, in divine presence, for mankind. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He lets him in sajda as long as He wishes. And then He says, Irfa Muhammad, raise up Muhammad. قل تسمع, سل تعطى, اشفع تشفع. You speak, you will be heard. That means his speech is worthy of being heard by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We read in Surah Amma, لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن. Everybody is in a line in Surah Amma. Everybody is in a line. Ruh, angels, spirits, they don't speak unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes. So He tells the Prophet, raise, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, say and you will be heard, ask and you will be given, intercede and you will be made the intercessor for whomever you want. فَأَرْفَعُ رَأْسَ. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, I raise my head up. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches me dua, prayer. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with what He's teaching me. فَيَحُدُّ لِي حَدًّا. So He gives me, He limits me to a number of people, and I take them all to paradise. But it's not enough. He says, I go back a second time. I ask my Lord permission to enter. I'm granted permission. I see my Lord, I fall into sajda again. And He leaves me as long as He wants to. And then He says, raise your head, say you will be heard, ask you will be given, the same thing, and intercede. And He says He gives me another portion of people. And I take them to paradise. And then a third time, He goes in, does the same thing, and another set of people is given to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The fourth time He goes in there, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, "Oh my Lord, Ya Rabbi, ما بقي إلا من حبسه القرآن." There is nobody remaining in hellfire except the ones that Quran prisoned them there. That means unbelievers, believers that were making partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, imperfect believers, the ones that we read in the Holy Quran about, munafiqeen, hypocrites for example, that the Quran with its rules had imprisoned them in Jahannam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the Prophet, whoever says La ilaha illallah and has barley weight, the weight of a barley, has a barley weight of goodness in his heart. This is very important. The Prophet said that فَيَخْرُجُ مِنَ النَّارِ will come out from hellfire whoever says La ilaha illallah and is in his heart is a weight of a barley grain in his heart. Will come out of hellfire. And then he says, after that comes out of fire who says La ilaha illallah, and in his heart is another grain smaller than barley, so a smaller grain, still they come out of hellfire. And then another time will come out of hellfire who says La ilaha illallah, and in his heart is an atom weight of goodness. And Sayyidina Ibn Abbas says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep getting people out of hellfire until He says whoever is a Muslim comes out. And that's where Imam Sanad recites that verse sometimes in prayer. Sayyidina Ibn Abbas says this is the explanation of this verse. رُبَّمَا أَسْتَعِينُ بِاللَّهِ رُبَّمَا يَوَدُّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَوْ كَانُوا مُسْلِمِينَ. Oh, how much they wish, the disbelievers, that they were Muslims on that day. Everybody that says La ilaha illallah with his heart, an atom weight of goodness will come out by the shafa'ah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why do you think the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is going after people in Mecca and Medina when he was living? And then his khalifs, his deputies, Sayyidina Abu Bakr, Sayyidina Umar, Sayyidina Uthman, Sayyidina Ali, all the imams, all the shuyukh, why do they go after people to say La ilaha illallah? That's it. Because everybody of us has some goodness in his heart. And if you couple that with La ilaha illallah, the Prophet ﷺ will intercede on the Day of Judgment for that person, get him out of fire. Even if he's not perfect Muslim, even if he's not perfect mu'min, even if he's not a saint, as long as we have a grain, an atom weight of goodness in our heart, and we say La ilaha illallah, the Prophet ﷺ will take us out of hellfire with his shafa'ah. How lucky are we? Very lucky. If we bring salawat on Prophet from morning till evening, it's not enough. He is the one to carry the burden of it being in the divine presence, asking intercession for whoever says La ilaha illallah. Do we say La ilaha illallah? Let's say it one time at least. La ilaha illallah. Do good now. So you have some goodness in your heart. So 1 plus 1 will be paradise. Inshallah, we ask that we stay on that kalima tawheed. We stay on that la ilaha illallah until the last breath. And we remain on goodness until the last breath. Because not to have la ilaha illallah when you're giving your soul away is a disaster. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala safety from that. We give our breath, last breath with la ilaha illallah, Muhammadun Rasulullah. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Inshallah, oh our Lord, make us from the blessed ones that are able to give that iman, that shahada, that la ilaha illallah when they are leaving this world to the other world. And make us from the ones that are worthy for the intercession of the Prophet ﷺ by implanting goodness in our heart and by keeping that la ilaha illallah on our tongue and in our heart. بحرمة الحبيب